this is probably another parallel to building stuff, mining, whatever it may be, field versus office. Friction there. And I'm sure this happens every once in a while in the military too.
Happens all the time.
where you have, the guys carrying out the mission versus the ones handing the mission down from command. That's how it feels like field versus office. How do you eliminate that friction?
Yeah.
That's there.
We have to build relationships, and we have to communicate up and down the chain of command. So if my boss is telling me to do something that doesn't make sense, I have to have a relationship with my boss so that I can actually say, hey boss, can I explain something to you? The way that we're doing this right now, I want to let you know about some secondary and tertiary effects that it's going to have on us. And you might be good with that, but I just want to make sure you understand how it's going to impact us. So, and then as a boss, you need to be probing and asking questions and making sure that you're getting feedback from the field. So this has to go in both directions. But the worst thing we can do is not ask questions, not have a relationship, and not communicate with each other. Do you think if you're doing a project, if I task you with a project and the project is going to lose money for whatever reason, do you think you might want to come and, don't you think I would want you to come and tell me, hey Jocko, just to let you know, I ran the numbers on this project you gave me and we're losing money. And I might say, yeah, hey listen, it's a long-term relationship, we're going to lose some money on this contract, but we're looking at 4 other contracts next year. They've already talked to us about them, so we're going to get this one done, we're going to take a hit on it, do the best you can, but I know we're going to lose some money. Cool, and you might say, great, thank you. Now I know that. Now you can look at the team and say, hey everyone, here's what's going on. The company's going to take a hit on this, but we got 4 projects lined up for next year. They're going to take care of us. Or I might say, wait a second, what do you mean we're going to lose money? And you might say, well, hey, I ran the numbers. This one part of the project we're going to have to move a ton of dirt, and we're going to have to put some rebar in and dig some concrete pylons down into the ground way deeper, and we're going to end up losing money. And I say, ooh, okay, thank you for telling me. Let me talk to the client and explain this situation that we have going on because we didn't do a good job estimating. Well, then someone else might get it. Okay, if someone else can beat our price, they can have it. So we have to communicate up and down the chain of command. In order to do that, we have to have good relationships.
What if I'm doing okay there, superintendent managing a project, but there's just kind of a bad attitude towards the office in general, out in the field amongst the crews that I'm managing.
Yeah. So if my team has a bad attitude towards the office, that's my fault because I'm not explaining to them what's going on. Hey everyone, check it out. I know this decision just got made that we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Let me explain to you why they're making that decision. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening with the client. Here's what's happening with the state regulators that have now come in and imposed this new law that we literally can't get out of. And we're going to take a hit on it right now. But there's no other way for us to get around this. That's why we're doing it. And unless anyone got any suggestions on how we could get around it, please let me know because the boss wants to know. The boss doesn't want to do this either. But it's the way the regulation is shaken out. And we either do it or we walk away from this project. I voted we do it. Boss said we do it. Let's do it, right? So we have to, once again, it comes down to communication, explaining what's happening, and important to explain why something is happening, why we're taking a certain course.
I guess to take it the other direction, you see a lot of people in the office that are just way too detached, and they forget that they even work at a construction company, for example. They forget that there's even something outside of the office that actually pays for the entire office. How did you make sure the office support staff that you led understood what the frontline guys were doing?
Go get in the field. Go get in the field. Like even for me, when I was a platoon commander, I went on every op because I was a platoon commander and I could. When I was task unit commander, I couldn't go on every op. I had multiple things I had to do. I had multiple elements in the field. I had to negotiate with the senior leadership. There's a lot of things going on. But if a time period went by where I hadn't been in the field in a while, I would just go on an op, just to go on an op. So yeah, how do you remember what's going on in the field? Go get in the field.
Going off field versus office, do leadership styles vary? And I guess we touched on this a little bit, but how do you adapt if you have to manage some field people, some office folks?
Oh yeah. Yeah, do leadership styles vary? Yes, leadership styles vary.
Blue collar people versus people that are a lot more refined.
Well, not only that, but not all blue collar people are the same, and
Correct.
not all white collar people are the same. And depending who I'm talking to, I'm gonna communicate with them in a way that makes most sense to them that I can. So do I vary my communication? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.